Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to the morning. Pre-market session as of right now. Market opens in about 2 minutes, so just wanted to go live a little bit prior to talk about some that are moving during the pre-market. So top gainers as of right now for pre-market, what we see that is in the green is SPRT. I already looked into it. Looks like a pump and dump. But the ones that I'm most interested in is the one that I was looking at right now that had a decent market cap and was trading pretty well. Was DOCS. So let's see if we can still find that. Here it is. So it's not down a significant amount. If you guys watched yesterday's video, we talked about Dollar Tree, right? But as of right now, DOCS, really nice pullback from previous 180-day highs. It was very bullish, which is something that I personally find pretty attractive. So just a heads up on that. Another one, let's see if we can find those. So we got base, so couch base. Yep, previously bullish. This one has a very low volume, so just make sure that you're aware of that. I'm not the biggest fan of trading stocks with, again, very low volume. So ticker symbol SNOW after its great performing day yesterday, right? Really nice push up, highs of 307. Makes sense on why it can pull on back, right? So let's just make sure that we take that into consideration going into market open. It's a Friday. Let's go in with that proper mentality of, let's really allow an opportunity to present itself and not be someone that's so willing to try to make any deal, happen, right? Especially if you're under the PDT rule. So good morning, good morning. All right, what's up? All right, here we go. So right off the bat, market is in the green, but not by very much, right? So we're very overbought on the 4-hour time frame, right? You guys can see that we hit highs of 15,000. Very overbought. Descending MACD, overbought RSI. Would it be it's a question that you can simply ask yourself. Would you be surprised if the NASDAQ market begins to pull on back? Probably not, right? At these overbought levels, it tends to correct itself in some form of way. It tends to correct itself in some form of way. It tends to correct itself in some form of way. We had a really nice recovery within a very short period of time. It makes sense on why it could correct itself. So again, it's not about predicting the future. It's about simply preparing for it. So here we go, ticker symbol HOOD, consolidating right around that EMA line. Just so you guys can see that. 1 day, 1 minute time frame. Nice push. Yep, there is a Fed talk today. So thank you for the heads up on that, Nathaniel. So that should be interesting to see where that shifts the market. They're normally Fed talks, they don't really change much, right? Which is not a positive catalyst. It doesn't act as a huge negative catalyst, but during these Fed talks, again, a lot of people are kind of just looking into or trying to have a better understanding of unemployment rates, stuff like that, right? And seeing what the Fed is going to be doing when it comes down to overall current market conditions, and to see if what it is that they share is either beneficial right now or again can act as a negative catalyst. So a lot of speculation, a lot of expectation. It's almost like earnings. It's, for me, not something that I plan to predict, especially when they are going to be released. It's kind of just waiting or anticipating, a shift of direction if it ends up presenting itself. All right, so we got Tesla up about 0.5%. We're not moving very much with that one. Snow is down 2.2%. We got Starbucks. All right. If there's any stocks that you would like me to break down or any stock that you think is oversold and you would like to share with us, please make sure you just post it in the live chat, right? So any stock that you want me to break down that you actually see value in right now, right? It's not a stock that you potentially want to get into, nothing like that, right? It's a stock that you actually see value in right now. Let's see what we got going on. Really nice push. Highs of 41. Quick push, 2%. Same thing with Robinhood. All right, watch out. Just like yesterday, we had a really nice push to highs of 44.78. We became very overbought. Look at the MACD. Look at the RSI. The volume died out. This acted as a negative catalyst, right? Pulling on back, SMA line descending resistance, and every single time it would sell right back off. So not saying that it has to repeat that same process. I would just say at these overbought levels, the current direction hasn't looked the most promising. It doesn't mean that you should be scared to take a position, but if you do decide to do it with a position in which you can tolerate. I think that's what's most important. Here we go. 41.30. Trying to see if I see anything interesting. Spotify. How are we looking at 227? We're looking really good here. We're almost back to when we originally talked about it, right? It hit lows of 213. Recovery to 232. So it's looking really good right now. My position on Spotify is decent. Nothing too crazy, but decent. Let's set the alert above SMA line. I like it. Wish. Still selling off. No indication of a reversal just yet. Heads up on that. Below. All right, so let's see if this is a good deal. Not really. I like the overall direction, right? Direction's definitely bullish. Is it the cheapest deal? Definitely not. It's now above EMA, right? It has about 2% potential. I don't really see this to be like a crazy stock worth trading. One with huge upside versus downside. But if it's consistent enough that you feel comfortable, if you've traded it and you feel comfortable with the overall patterns, then so be it. I wish the margins made a little bit more sense, the upside versus downside. Roku looking good. Okay, let's see it. Nice push. I'm gonna sell a couple of these shares. It's really slow today. Really slow day in the market. Airbnb, PTON. All right, I'll break down PTON next. So we got Juan and Logan asking for PTON, right? Yeah, so I'd be happy to. Just one second. I don't even have that large of a... Give it a little bit more chance, yeah. I want to give it a little bit more room to either make it more dramatic. I don't know if I do. PTON down 10%. Great call out on this one, team. So Peloton hitting highs of 120 yesterday, right? Or what was that, 2 days ago? And nice little pullback today. Is this due to earnings? Yeah. So I like it. I like how much it sold off based off previous patterns. It's been doing a really good job holding above and trading above the 115 to 120 area. Overall highs of 129. From where it's at as of right now, let's say that it goes to lows of 100, even selling at 115 where it's a very common trading range. That would be about 17%. So PTON definitely is going to be added back to my list of stocks to keep a close eye on. I appreciate that. Thank you for the heads up. Let's set an alert. Simple, easy to follow up with. I like it. Alrighty. Baba, where is the bottom? I'm sure that's what everyone's been wondering ever since its initial drop. Down another 3% on Baba. Yeah, Baba's been very bearish. I mean, we can't say that we're surprised, right? Baba's been selling off for quite some time. It was very bullish. It peaked, and then ever since, it being under investigation by the Chinese government, it's been selling off, lower highs, lower lows, just not good, right? Direction is not in our favor. I've kept it really simple where I'm not going to touch it until it actually begins to indicate signs of a reversal on the big charts. And yeah, I mean, it's allowed me at least to be selective enough to not buy something that continuously sells off. And it's not that it's impossible to make money off of something like Baba. It has nice pushes from time to time, but more often than not, it just doesn't hold at these overbought levels, right? You guys can see that it just continues to sell off, pushes, sells off, pushes, sells off, and direction is not in your favor. So with that being said, it's very important to understand when a stock is worth trading and maybe when it's not. So Please review LCID. That's Lucid Motors, right? LCID. I'm not the biggest fan of Lucid Motors. Yeah, I would say I felt like Lucid Motors was very hyped up when it converted from, what was it, CCIV, right? And then it made the transition into Lucid. So yeah, it's selling off as of right now. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. And a really nice rally. It pushed up, very pumped up. Yeah, it is a little bit more on the oversold side based off of previous patterns. But you just have to understand that this is a relatively very new company. It has so much to prove, and I mean, it has so much to prove with everything in the set expectations that they set for themselves and comparing themselves to something like Tesla. So is this something that I'm going to blindly buy the dip on and hope that it makes a recovery? Definitely not. So yeah, it's great that you're paying attention to it at these overbought levels, but direction is key. And as of right now, Lucid just does not have it. All right, there it goes. Back to Robinhood. We already talked about, so Rick Hansen, we already talked about the overall NASDAQ market in the first 5 minutes of this live stream. Talked about the market being overbought. We could easily anticipate a pullback at these overbought levels based off previous patterns. It's not like it's a super good deal right now. It's either the momentum continues, or if there's not enough, right, then we'll correct ourselves. So should not be a surprise. It's pretty simple. So we got ticker symbol BTG 370 428. Let's see, BTG. All right, so there's a nice push on Hood stock. All right, yeah. Direction is everything, right? Direction's not in our favor here. Yeah, there might be some consolidation, maybe establishing a support level. This is a lower price stock, and it looks like it's for a reason. I would not rush into buying this stock. Every time that it pushes up, it gets rejected right away. It makes lower highs and lower lows. It's a continuous descending pattern, which is very important to understand. So direction's not in our favor. It sells off more than it pushes up. And it's asking yourself the very simple question, is this actually an opportunity? Like, why is this a buy right now versus a month ago or 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks before that or 2 weeks before that? You know, there's no indication of a reversal. There's no indication of an uptrend. We're not now beginning to trade above SMA line. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Make sure there's a reason for everything it is that you do. Maybe if it's done it in the past before, whatever, even on the technical aspect. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing. It's selling off, it's lower highs, lower lows. Why would I want to put my money into this? Why? So hopefully it begins to recover? No, right? It's selling off. It looks like it has low volume. Yeah. A bunch of reasons I would not want to trade or get into that. There it goes, really nice push. Wow. 47.88, 47.98. Huge push. This is great. So again, let's just talk about it, right? I don't know if you guys remember 2 days ago when we pushed up. I don't tell you guys where to sell. I just knew that we pushed up. We became very overbought. And I sold the majority of my position over here, right? It was a great day. We anticipated a pullback, and I bought a couple of shares. Same thing with yesterday. We had a really nice push. I loaded off on a couple of those shares. It pulled right out back. It's just very easy to understand the overbought levels with a stock that doesn't hold very well more often than not. This is what I want you to understand. It's like, no, we can't predict the future. And I know that sounds like a broken record because we always say that. But why am I always so eager for a stock like Robinhood or for a stock like AMC to lock in profits when it pushes up like this? Because more often than not, it does not hold up here. It pushes, it peaks, and it pulls right on back. It pushes, it peaks, and then pulls right on back. So as it's pushing up, and I get it, this thing can go to $48, it could go to $50, but almost every single time, it sells right back off. It sells right back off. It sells right back off. And I can always, right, by selling at the highs, buy back at a better deal, right? And prepare for the next push that it has. It's a risky trade regardless, but it's so, so important to understand that the way that it trades. And you can do your own analysis. You can look at it a little bit closer, but literally almost every single time it pushes up, it sells right back off. It pushes up, it sells right back off, right? It has nice rallies for a couple of days, but guess what? It sells right back off. Understand the true direction. Stop being such in fear of like, well, what if it goes up even more? So you still made a profit, and it pulls on back more often. Look at it almost every single time. It pulls back more often than it holds at those levels, and it's that simple. That should be an encouragement of like, I should not be afraid to lock in profits. Sam, I just said that I bought some yesterday. I bought some when it sold off. So this is why I'm selling at the previous highs. So I don't know if you're listening to what it was that I was saying. SQQQ at 774. It's not looking too bad. Starting to look like it's establishing a support level. I think I might buy a little bit more SQQQ today. It's still super early on, right? So let's be aware of that. I don't expect it to make a full recovery to previous highs, right? But I'm excited. I'm excited. Appreciate that, James. Are you still in an AMC position? Yep. Bought a couple more shares yesterday, but I have a very light AMC position. I'm anticipating AMC, and I talked about it in yesterday in the Discord chat. I would love to see AMC back at $30 a share. How many of you guys, can I get a show of hands? How many of you guys would love to see AMC at $30 a share? Right? I have a position, but it's like it's not a heavy one where I'm like, oh, I need it to go up. It's just in case, right? I sold the majority, almost all my position, and I'm just waiting for something to pull on back, right? And if it does pull on back, I can buy 10 times as much as I have right now. And it's like, again, we've talked about this staying well balanced, that you want to have some skin in the game. So if it continues to go up, you can partake in that action. But if it pulls on back, you don't become an emotional mess, right? So if it pulls on back, then yeah, I have a couple of shares of AMC. And it's still like, it still sucks to see it pull back. But guess what? It's about the opportunity. And I know that if I could lighten up my position, buy at 30, at 25 for AMC when it begins to indicate signs of a reversal, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. But it's testing it. I mean, AMC is definitely pulling on back. It has a lot to prove, right? It went from highs of $47 down to 40, when everyone was like, AMC again, this is the time, that I don't know how many times we're gonna hear that. How many times we're gonna hear that? Oh, this is the time. This is the short squeeze is coming. I don't know, but it's been coming for a while. It's still not here, right? More often than not, it's not here. So I'm not here to trade based off of other people's expectation. I will never hold a position to please someone else, just because the simple fact that it's a trade, right? It's a trade. I should, always make sure that I understand the opportunity, the intent, the direction, and that if things do go south, they're not going to cover your loss. All the profits you gave back, they're not going to, cover that for you, reimburse you for that. Why would you do something based off of someone else's potential benefit? It's like, at the end of the day, if they want to take that risky trade and hold, it could be very rewarding, right? But more often than not, no, not even more often than not, every single time, there's not been one time that it's pushed that they're like, oh, okay, it's a very hopeful mentality that a lot of those holders have. But if that's what they want to do, I'm not here to convince them not to, right? Because yeah, it could be very rewarding. It would be something that has never happened before. But guess what? I'm not here to trade something that has never happened before. I'm not here to hope something that has never happened actually plays out that way. I don't care enough. I don't. I see an opportunity, an entry, exit, manage my risk, get in, get out, call it a day, and then wait for the next one. I don't, just like any other trade, we're not here to, when you're trading, you're not there to please me, right? You're not there to, I gotta make sure that I do this for Ricky, or that I hold for Ricky. It's like, do it for yourself. If you're not going to do it for yourself, then don't do it for anyone else, right? If it's not in your best interest, then don't do it. It's that simple. You should never do something for someone else. Have you guys talked about the PTON position? Yep, it is in our watch list. I'll just be careful, right? Because if the market pulls on back, Braden, right, the pins will most likely follow. So I wouldn't overdo it. I would not overdo it when it comes down to that. Sell the highs, buy the lows, right? Even with this little margin, it's not much, but something, 2%, right? Being able to buy the highs and sell the lows, it's not bad. So do you sometimes hold AMC and Hood overnight? Of course, I do it with a light enough position, right? So you guys have seen that at times I am trading AMC with $500,000, right? I'm not going to hold $500,000 overnight. I might hold 50,000, right? I'll hold 10% of what I was trading with, just in case. Even at the overbought levels, I might hold 30,000, something like that, maybe 1,000 shares. It's still a lot of money. Trust me, I get it. I see it. It's still a lot of risk, but guess what? If it pulls on back, I'm not phased by it. If I make that much money as it pushes up, it's like, what if it does continue to go up? Then yeah, I want to have 1,000 shares. But yeah, it's like, if you're trading with $1,000 and that's what you're trading with, do you want to hold that overnight? What if AMC pulls on back, right? You don't want to hold it with $1,000, but maybe with $100, you're like, okay, I can do it with $100. I can tolerate that. Even if it pulls back, 5%, I can still tolerate that. I have $900 more I can buy the dip with. It's the same concept. It's all about position size. It's knowing what you have to work with versus what you choose to hold. There's a stock I was going to break down. I don't see it right now. So Levi. Dang it. It wasn't Levi, but I'll write that one down. Levi. Alright, a very low volume. Just heads up on that. I'm not the biggest fan of this. Very low volume, a lot of consolidation. Let's be honest, this is not a bullish stock. This is not a bearish stock. It tends to kind of just find a support around 26.50. It tends to find a resistance right around 28.50. If you like trading those, then great, but it looks like almost every single time the support and resistance is getting a little bit tighter. So that's not the best sign. Do I find this stock super rewarding? No, but again, I don't have to agree with you. 4%, almost 5%. I'll just be careful. Right? It looks like sometimes it does sell off to lows of 26. I don't know if you want to wait out for that, but it looks like the SMA line is now acting as a little bit more of a resistance level, and right now we definitely are pulling on back. So best of luck to you. Look at that push. Look at that push. I'll just send it just to get filled. Alrighty, Stephanie. Of course, I appreciate you asking, and most importantly, Stephanie, I appreciate you taking time and posting that in the ticker call out format. It is so important for you to plan out your trades, and Stephanie, I have to say, you're probably one of the few people within this live chat that has taken time to plan it out. And it's something that a lot of people overlook because they get too confident. But trust me, if you continue that structure, even when you're planning it out, how many times have you caught yourself as you're planning it out? You maybe see the upside versus downside where you plan to cut losses, and then maybe second guess yourself because you're like, actually, this might not actually be worth it. That's the whole point of planning out your trade, right? It's so you can implement structure, but also give yourself a self-evaluation on that stock and then really put it, ask yourself, is this actually something that I want to trade? Is it actually something, do the numbers make sense? And if you catch yourself by not taking, seeing that, hey, this actually does not meet my criteria, the upside does not outweigh the downside, maybe you're right, maybe I shouldn't trade this. That's you're saving yourself from a trade that you wouldn't have actually agreed with, and all you did was you took a minute to plan it out. So Hey Ricky, I just wanted to say thank you for teaching me the importance of position size. I think that's the best thing to say. Is the only people who are upset by the dips are the ones that couldn't catch them. Agreed. William, super happy to hear that. Happy to hear that you're doing well. So I love how that you're just straight up and don't sugarcoat things. It's very authentic. Oh, appreciate that, Braden. Thank you, thank you. So Powell in on. What? No, Powell's live, yeah. Do you trade that? No, I do not. So any recommendation or info on getting your first loan out for a property? If you are looking to get a loan yourself, I want you to know that it's not just one company that you can work with. As one company runs your credit, you can get a number of companies that can run your credit and not take such a big hit, right? Because it all happens at the same time. I would definitely explore different lenders. Some lenders are more creative and more aggressive than others, right? Just like different banks give different interest. So don't be afraid to shop around. It would be my only recommendation when it comes down to that, to make sure that you are aware of what's the most you can qualify for and what interest rates, and you can kind of play them against one another of like, hey, I have 3.5% here, can you do 3% or 3.25%, stuff like that. So TQQQ is taking off. Let's see it. Yeah, market's doing pretty good. Hood with a slight push. If you can't handle the red days, you don't deserve the green days. Best Ricky quote. Let's check that out, Christopher. Was it GM, right? General Motors. Let me just double check. Where's it at? GM. Nice push on the day. 4-hour time frame. Let's check it out. Okay. So I see why you're paying attention to it, and I think you called it out yourself where it is oversold. It is very bearish. It's been getting rejected by the SMA line. And again, I don't ever want to say that these are difficult or impossible to work with, but just like last time, right? It aggressively sold off. It tried to push up right at the SMA line, got rejected, sold right back off. You need to take that into consideration. It can still easily sell off. Be selective when you wait for confirmation. Be selective for that overall reversal, and don't be afraid to be able to lock in profits. So, especially if we do break above the SMA line and we EMA line, and we do break towards the SMA line, you got to be aware of that. So yeah, I think we went over 30 minutes, right? We're closer to 40. Yep. I'm going to be working on a video for you guys in just a little bit. So Powell is on, which means that the Fed talk is on. Please understand that this can act as a quick shift of direction for the overall market. It's a Friday. If you don't see an opportunity present itself, don't trade. That's simple. Sometimes one of the best trades that you can take is simply not taking one at all, right? Especially when direction is not in your favor. Be encouraged to be selective. I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope and wish you guys an amazing Friday and an amazing weekend. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please make sure that you message me via Discord. If you have any questions, do not message me on Instagram. Do not message me on Facebook. Do not message me on YouTube. You are part of Learn Plan Profit. Message me via Discord. Any questions you might have, direct message me via Discord. You'd be surprised. I have to repeat this because people that are part of LPP message me in other areas and then question why I don't get back to them. Discord, please. Thank you. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.